Yo YouTube, welcome back to another video, and yes, you read the title. We're going to be using the new Tengen unit with his new OP familiar. You know, if you guys don't know, he has his familiar right now. Was it the bomb? Yeah, Tengen smoke bomb. Pretty much he can basically apply, he gets guaranteed crits and he can get increased crit damage for 40 seconds against debuffed enemies. And he has his own debuff, which is Scorched. So against, when he attacks the first time, he applies Scorch on them, and then it's a permanent debuff, so pretty much every time he attacks them, he's basically doing crit damage against them. He's just critting against them. Plus, he's also doing his own passive, where he does more damage to consecutive enemies, which allows him to basically solo the EX stage. In fact, both EX stages, the AOT one, not really a challenge for Tengen. It makes it look so easy. You can see I do it with like a different team, but this is the lineup for the thingy team, the GG EX stage. So pretty much the only one who has a familiar is, I guess, Todo has a familiar just for range. Baiken, she has a Black Spirit, but I'm pretty sure you can get by without a Black Spirit, even a weak one. Then Tengen has his own familiar. You got Orihime with nothing, and the Smith has a food familiar, which buffs his buff a bit more, gives a stronger buff. Alright, this person wanted to be intro, so shout out to them. Shark Kiddos. But pretty much, yeah, that's pretty much nothing much more to say. What's cool about it is, I think during immunity, or the boss of the GGX stage pretty much has immunity, which makes it so Tengen can't apply his debuff. But I'm pretty sure tethered, correct me if I'm wrong, tethered counts as a debuff. So pretty much when Baiken attacks the boss, he pretty much debuffs him, which allows Tengen to do his crits, and that's why he's able to kill the boss. You'll see in the when you watch the runs, you can see Tengen just absolutely bullies them, and that's pretty much it. You know, just enjoy the runs, and yeah, let's just glaze Tengen as much as we can, because he's a very good unit. I would say, does he fit top 5? Potentially. He's a very good unit though. But without out of the way, let's just get into this, man. Okay, so just have to restart for champions. Just go lobby and then go back in, get champions card. And yeah, you'll see. Just place our farms. And Orihime is actually pretty nice for this, because she allows us to place Tengen for free, basically. Just place her, then you can place Tengen for free. And yeah, you can see, let's just get this farming out the way. But pretty much this is actually proper Tengen solo. Like, there's no sub DPS. It's just purely Tengen's own DPS, which is kind of crazy. Soloing a 14 million boss who has armored, you know, the armored mutator, plus he also has full immunity. Okay, as you see, upgrade the farms here, then you place Orihime, and then it allows you to place Tengen, you see, free, boom. And yeah, just turn off auto wave skip, heal. The reason I do that is just to farm a bit more yen. But pretty much after the first boss, you don't need to turn auto off. And the reason I place Baiken pretty early, you can see after the next bit of yen, is just to get her tension meter filled up. And we do need the tension meter for the pool. And right here, you just use that, get Tengen to his returning slashes. Once he's here, pretty much can solo all of these mobs easily. They're not an issue. And you just place Baiken here. She's going to be stalling. And she's also going to be filling attention meter. See, 6% per attack. That's just purely because of my Black Spirit. But, you know, it should be like 2% or was it 1%? You can fill it pretty easily. You don't have to worry about using the Black Spirit. And I still have auto off. The reason for this is because just need these mobs to die a bit before Todoing to the boss. Because Todo is the main unit for this. Pretty much just allows us to use Tengen to his full potential. Because Tengen's passive, where he does more damage when attacking the same enemy, so consecutive attacks to the same enemy gives him more damage. So pretty much using that, the Todo ability, we can pretty much attack the boss consistently and just keep doing a lot of damage to him. And look at this, 2 bosses here. And yeah, look at this. And those bosses are just gonna get shredded. He's only at 90k damage, by the way. Only 90k damage. And he's doing this. See, that future sister boss is pretty much nothing. And the reason the Gleeful Disorder is tanking a lot, it's purely because he has Armored on him. And you need to attack him with different unique placements, which is why he's just so tanky. But pretty much we're just moving Tengens through, just slowly and slowly, just keep following the boss. And each time we're going to be skipping the wave for Yen, so we can just upgrade Tengen. Make sure to only total him after he's attacked. That's the only reason I told him. You can see, normally a 1.7 million boss with armored will not die here. But yeah. And there, do it there. Get next move. I let Tengen kill one of these mobs at the front. You know, he destroyed the white one, and then now I just let him focus boss. And he should just kill this boss. And yeah, that boss is not an issue, you know. And then now we keep auto off and we just go through each mob, just killing each mob. The only bad thing about Tengen is this one attack, his AoE is so horrendous. Yes, he has a short SPA, but it's not viable, you know. It's not really nice to use. But once you get him to full AoE, which is where it's pretty sure it's like 50k to full AoE, or 52k. Once you get him to that, it's so crazy. And here I'm just placing the other totals over there because the boss is going to spawn on the right. See, I kind of messed up on this part with that mob staying alive, so I just had to follow him. And once he's dead, you just total him back to the front. See, set and replace, total, and then total again. So I just couldn't click for some reason. And then there. So there's a lot of attacks that I just didn't get on the boss. But yeah, you can see even with that, it's still able to kill him. And the reason I have this total there is just to take off his armored stacks. But you can see, Baiken at wave 11 has full tension meter, so pretty much you don't need a black spirit on her. And once those mobs at the back are just dealt with, I moved Tengen a bit more to the left. I did it a bit early, but yeah, you see that enemy at the back? He's not an issue. And this boss just getting bullied by Tengen. And what's nice about Scorched is he can get his crits off his own debuff, and Scorched is a permanent debuff. I guess the one downside to that is you would have to apply Wounded before you apply Scorched. I'm pretty sure Scorched overrides all debuffs, like Wounded and stuff. Correct me if I'm wrong in it. But yeah, look, boss dies. And yeah, you can just move Tengen to the front, back to all those mobs. And yeah, those mobs are not going to be an issue. You can see just getting created. All it takes is one attack and then they're perma hit by the Scorched. And because he's multi-hit, the first hit will just Scorch them, and then all the other 4 hits are going to be his crit attacks, which is nice about him. And here I just gave the range buff to Baiken, and then I gave just upgrading Baiken. But you can keep auto on, to be honest, because it don't really matter, because these mobs are not going to be leaking. And I moved Tengen a bit closer to the front just to make sure he is hitting the boss. As soon as the boss spawns, make sure to get as many attacks onto the boss as possible. And you can also place 2 Baikens up front. That's what I should have done. I placed it a bit later, but yeah. 2 Baikens at the front just to make sure the armored stacks are gone, and pretty much just deals with it the most part. Well, pretty much you just cleanse all your units. So use Orihime. That's one cleanse, making sure Baiken is cleansed, and making sure the Smith is cleansed, and that's all that matters. And the cell farms, and yeah, that's pretty much it. You can see 513k damage, and let's see how he deals with the boss. See, I just placed Tengen totals and the 2 Baikens. Just set them to bosses. And you can see Tengen is creating the boss. And normally he shouldn't be doing it because he's immune to all debuffs, but during immunity, full immunity, um, Tethered still works and it counts as a debuff, so pretty much Baiken with Tengen is pretty much a very good combo. And yeah, you can see 3 essential units are Todo, Baiken, and Tengen. But then randomly he just stopped creating on him, so I don't know. It's interesting. Or maybe, I guess it makes sense. Yeah, maybe you just can't create him at all. I think what happened was, it would just show the instances of all the damage, and that's why it was orange. It doesn't really cycle it out, but you can see, this is pure damage, you know, no crits. No crits at all, and the boss is getting absolutely bullied by Tengen. Look, that's all Tengen right there. 160k each tick. I'm pretty sure that's maximum. Yeah, 166k for 5 hits. So you guys can do the maths on that. Don't have to tell you about it. It's like around like 800k damage. So yeah, that's all Tengen, you know, all Tengen. And that's why Tengen is something a unit shouldn't sleep on, you know. Just goes crazy. And that's pretty much it for the Go to get Ex Stage solo. I'll get onto the AOT one, and pretty much the AOT one I don't really bring back in. It's just so much more simple because Tengen himself can defeat that easily. And that's pretty much it, you know. Let's just get onto the Guilty Gear one. What's funny about this one is it took me about like 18 retries just to get that stupid Champions card. But pretty much the only reason I ranked Orihime was just for the cleanse, and you saw in the last clip, just makes using Tengen a lot easier. You basically get up to like, was it 60k damage? Yeah, 60k damage, or it was about 50 something to 60k damage for 1.6k yen. And the yen gain on this match is a bit more, so pretty much you can place Tengen wave 1, or Orihime and Tengen wave 1. So you see, just do this, upgrade farm, and then place Orihime up front there. And you can just place Tengen there. Yeah, about 49k damage. It's pretty good for on placement. Considering after he hits the first attack, he's gonna be doing his debuff. And he can just crit non-stop onto those enemies, certain enemies. And you can see we're just in this single farm. Tengen is such a great unit, you know. Don't want to see people hating on him because they got Monarch Sukuna or something. Yes, I do think. Do I think Sukuna is better? Yeah, I think Sukuna is better. But Tengen isn't something, a unit you shouldn't sleep on. Well, based on the damage he does in this one, he could probably do the AOT one, so trailers. There just isn't any trailers cards, so can't really do it with him. Because even enemies that have regen, he can just delete them himself. And once you get him to upgrade 2, pretty much Tengen solos a lot of content, you know. Being multi-hit and just critting after the first hit, pretty much just makes him a really good unit. Look, you see when I follow this errand boss, a boss who has pretty high regen capacity, you know. He regens a lot. Yes, I do get some oopsies with the targeting, but you can see even with him regen that much, it's so easy. And my Tengen just wants to attack the other units. And from here, he shouldn't really attack the other units. And look, 3.9 SPA, 44k DPS, and it's a lot more because of the crits. He's a very good unit, you know. I'm just gonna keep glazing Tengen non-stop. Yeah, but what's nice about both runs, Tengen is the main DPS, there's no other units. There's no Griffiths, no Kaguya's, no nothing. Tengen gains a lot of value from just Todo himself because they're consecutive attacks, as I said. And the fact that he's multi-hit, he's the first hit is applying Scorch and then the 4 other hits are just doing crits. So very nice. You can see even these bosses, 4.3 million each, and they're just gonna get shredded. And I get Lancer up for, of course, the Rupture on the bosses. Do I think he could have killed without Rupture? I don't know, let's see. Before Rupture, let's see how much damage he's doing. Low-key? Nah, he wouldn't have been able to. Maybe after the crits. But having Lancer just makes it so much more easier. You can see that first boss over there, the Eren boss, just gets shredded as well. All it took was one hit. One attack, to be honest. And you can see these bosses, probably 2 more attacks. The HP just getting shredded. That isn't even a max Tengen. And the reason I turned the auto off is just to show, just to kill this boss real quick. The leaking boss. I think, was it 1 hit or 2 hits that I killed him with Tengen? Let's see. Yeah, basically 2 hits, but you can see it was 800k damage just from that. And luckily enough, the crystal was up there, so we just moved Tengen slowly up. And right now his range is quite low, so I needed to cleanse him. And now he's cleansed, and yeah, 404k damage, 5.5 SPA, and yeah, pretty much just crits non-stop. You know, what's sad about Tengen is he can't really get extra 30%. We all thought initially that the 30% fire damage would count towards it. But because it isn't his base element, he doesn't really get that one. Once these mobs are dead, we're just gonna follow those mobs. And he just shreds them. And that's pretty much it. So like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.